Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to talk about why the medical profession doesn't work in order to help you heal your body and cure any diseases. Because I really want you to know that after 25 years of nursing, there is a lot of, I would say, conspiracy around the medical profession at this point. All you really have to do is look back at the 1920s and 30s when the Rockefellers took over the medical profession. It's a huge deal. And it's why we're where we're at today with just chemical pharmaceutical stuff. Now, I do want to say the advances in trauma medicine, saving lives, fixing bones, and, emergency surgeries is without a doubt beautiful and needs to continue, right? However, the disease industry is literally just that. It's an industry. It's the sickness industry. To me, the reason why I left the profession is because I watched people continuously over and over again get no help and end up going downhill, dying, and just overwhelmed with diseases and medications and no answers and no help. Okay. Now, there are people in the profession, such as myself, some doctors and nurses and other professionals that truly give such concern and care and want more than anything to help people. But we have a very limited box from where we can work. We are not allowed to take tools from the outside and bring them into the care that we give. And I personally have been studying alternative, old wisdom, old natural healing, even the new healing, scalar energy and frequency healing and, oxygen healing. And there's so much that we can use to heal our body because it does. It's a self-healing organism. There's really nothing that it cannot heal from. I feel like we can heal from genetic diseases. We can heal from all the cancers. Um, there's so much. But the thing is that none of these tools are being included or used. They're actually pushed away and have been pretty much executed. Um, Shoved under the rug and all this stuff. And then even spoken of like it's crazy or that's nonsense, right? Because when I came into the profession, if you had a patient on like they took like an urban home, it was like everyone on the medical team was like, oh, my God, like, what does this person think they're doing? Right. And they kind of disrespected the people who were trying to go natural. Now, this was like 20 plus years ago when I kind of started. Nowadays, I'd say in the last like 10, doctors are more familiar with milk thistle if somebody's taking it, or they see people trying. But at the same time, even those people that are trying to take their milk thistle to help their liver or something, they're still stuck in the system. They're still in the thought process, believing that these sicknesses and stuff don't go away because no doctor has told you that there's a cure for diabetes. Okay. Um, they don't even really understand it. I know that they understand the pancreas and the insulin and all this stuff, but purposefully, disease is not understood by the profession. Medical schools were taken over by the Rockefellers, okay? So the information that the medical people get and the doctors learn is bare minimum and really the wrong science, to be honest with you. Um, they took away all of it. They really did. They took away how to see the body correctly, which is where things really started to really get murky for me. And I mean early on. I started being a nurse in 1999 because I took a year and a half off after I graduated from nursing to like just take a freaking minute, right? Because it was like gonna be serious. When I get into my profession, I'm in it. And now I'm responsible for lives because nurses are responsible. Like something happens to my patient in my care. I mean, there's so many things that could go wrong. I could give them a medication that the doctor ordered, and if I didn't think it through enough, and I gave that medication and it was the wrong one, I'm responsible. Maybe the doctor, but the nurse is responsible because she gave it. I wasn't really looking forward to that level of responsibility at 21. So instead, I took some time. But then eventually I got into the profession and I was like, I'll tell you, nursing school didn't show me nothing. Okay. We did some rotations in hospitals, but like uh, besides the fact I was in New York, and any nurse that I got that had to be somebody who oriented me was annoyed. They were mean. They didn't want to be bothered. And I get it because when I was a nurse up until later years, it was like it is a hassle because if you're so busy that you could barely do your job, which half the time was the case, you could barely get to the patient in time and everybody's calling and the one guy's draining you or this or that. Having a student is challenging. I understand because the nurses are so bogged down and the care anyway. This was New York. I got into the hospital and I was like thrown into the fire, right? I learned hard and fast, but once I did a strike in Ohio and then another one in Minnesota, and when I met the people that worked with me, which were all from around the country because, a strike, they had to take nurses from everywhere and bring them in. I realized that people were freaking nice. Now, I grew up in New York. It's all I ever knew. So I didn't know people were nice everywhere. I mean, they're not nice everywhere. I mean, trust me. There's crappy people in every place, country, state, you name it. But it was quite a difference, like a world of difference, like a total 180, right? So anyway, as I was in this profession, I realized people weren't really getting like the help they needed. All we were doing was medicating and stuff. And when I started to look at the food and everything that was coming through on a plate for them, I was like, what the? Then I started getting into the healing stuff of food, right? That was like my first journey, other than like Reiki and hands-on healing and stuff that I had done before I even graduated nursing, which wasn't going to come into the profession because I couldn't like say, hey, you guys, can I do some Reiki on these people? But yeah, I just saw the nutrition side to things. And then I went to a Institute of Integrative Nutrition and became a holistic health counselor during my nursing, like first year and a half working as a nurse. And I realized, wow, people really need to know this and things need to change. And so I went to my hospital. This was still in Queens, like St. John's Queens Hospital, where I first worked, where I was born. And I presented to them a whole thing. I did the whole type up, blah, blah, blah. Like, can I give this class here for free? I wasn't even looking for money. And they looked it over and they were like, we have a job for you. And I was like, oh my God, awesome. They're like, it's not the class you want to teach. And I was like, oh. They were like, we need someone to be on the American Heart Association board. Like they needed a representative in the hospital, a nurse. And I was like, oh, well, because it's heart health, I thought, well, they include food in that, right? Maybe that will be good. It was a very useless position. I didn't last long because it was really just about following AHA, which all these organizations, I'm going to tell you this, the Cancer Society, blah, 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 they're just money draining people. They educate to their limited thinking. Because if you look into it, the cancer industry like became an industry. I think in the 1950s, dates go in and out of my head, right? It's been about 100 years that this cancer industry, 80 to 100 years that the cancer industry has been in its place. 80 to 100 years. And you know that there has been billions of dollars funneled into research, but they never found anything. No cure. There's just no cure. But we discovered like a better chemo. Chemo, if you took like pH, right? You got acid and alkaline, right? You know, battery acid that's like in your battery, in your car battery or whatever, that is the pH of chemotherapy. Put it in your body though. And we know that chemo kills the bad cells, but it also kills the good cells. But like, oh well, like and radiation, it kills all the cells that then can never grow back. Whereas chemo, at least like cells can start to grow back. But man, you're going to attack a body that is already weak and down and needs help. The body needs help and it needs oxygen therapy. I'll tell you what, cancer, put some oxygen therapy to all these people right away. Get them in there every day. Get them on some good nourishment nutrition, get them into meditative practices and change things in their emotional, mental, spiritual world. There's so many components to cancer. It kills me. And plenty of people have cured their own, okay? But you can't say that. There's a literal Cancer Act of 1973 or something where it's against the law to ever say cure or heal or whatever alongside the CANCER word. Why would the law be involved? Why also the people that came up with cures for it? Why did they get killed? Why are they no longer here? Where's their information? Do you know that there's been so much information to help people heal? Or even just like ways to run a car without petrol or electricity without them and their stuff. All of it gets pushed away. So my point being, this industry, this healthcare industry is run by the wrong people with the wrong intentions, with greed and wealth in mind. I mean, the amount of money pharmaceutical companies have made, or the petro oil industry, because they supply the chemicals for these industries to make the pills for us, for you and whoever. I don't know. I don't take the pills. I don't trust them. I don't even trust Tylenol and ibuprofen. I'll never take it. I could have the worst headache, which I never really get, or cramps or whatever. And you'll never find me taking a medication. I'll take CBD. I'll do whatever else. I'll do a castor oil pack. I'll do whatever else. I will not touch their chemical medications because it's already bad enough that our food has so many pesticides and stuff. Like we're all in the air, everything. We are constantly being attacked. Why am I going to add more chemicals to my biological, energetic, water-based body, my cellular self? Okay. These chemicals are very hard on the body. People don't realize that they're like, oh my God, it saved my life. Nobody saved your life. Because if they really wanted to save you, they would have taken care of all the underlying issues that you have going on that are causing the problems with your kidneys, with your liver, with your blah, blah, blah. Okay, Alzheimer's too. Nobody looks at the heavy metals, the amount of aluminum. I mean, I'm just over it. So the medical industry is an industrial complex run by the wrong people who are running just about everything these days, okay? Like I have no filter anymore. I'm just pissed off because murderers, tyrants and oligarchs are the ones in charge of our health, our education, our mind, our everything. They get to tell us how we're going to serve them and that we're going to be weak. That's basically the way it is. So for me, the medical profession, nah. You serve, like I said, with trauma, emergency, saving lives. Saving a life that's like on the brink, on the edge, but not saving lives when it comes to somebody so sick and down in the dumps. Yes, okay, people would argue with me. I've heard it all the time. It saved my mother. It saved myself. It saved me. Okay, so they got us out of a bad place. Maybe they do that too, because I've seen it, but then I've also had the patients who are repeat offenders, so to speak, who keep coming back with the same issue. They get fixed up, propped up to go home. But nobody handled the deep core issues, gave them tools, helped them birth out all this stuff and regenerate, right? Because the body is constantly regenerating. Our cells regrow. Every 7 years, your body is a new cellular organism. So it's like your body pretty much every 7 years can grow into the new, like, so if you cleaned out your body took herbs and stuff to like support it, clean it out, get it strong, started eating food that would be really good for it, which is so hard to find today because organic's just as effed up. Got to grow your own, but like in a greenhouse because of the spraying in the sky, it's like everything gets messed up. But if you gave people the tools and, changed the diet and did all this goodness and healed and even visualization and emotional therapy and all this stuff is how you heal. But they'll never give you those tools. They'll never do that. They'll send you home on the meds. They got you propped up again, right? Send you home, all your meds, and then you're crumbling again. And then you got to go back in. That's exactly the process that's going on all over the place. I can only speak for the United States. I have witnessed it for 27, 28 years now. It is so frustrating because it's been very hard for me to not just be super angry. I'm still angry. I've literally been angry for a long time because the research I've done and the people that have cured themselves, literally, okay, there's testimonials up the butt all over the world. There's actually places around the world, Europe, all these other places, even here in the United States, but people have to go to like Mexico or France or whatever to go to a healing center, clinic that will then help them literally go from dirt bottom and build their bodies back up and build their health back up. Because that's all very possible, 100%. So this video is just to let you know that the medical industrial complex is ruled by greedy oligarch losers. Okay. They're losers. Some pharmaceutical meds, great. Thank you. Thank you. We need them. We need the anesthetics, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Maybe as something as a bridge, right? Like we're in a freaking rough place. I need just something to get me over the edge. So while I do the stuff and get myself better, and then eventually I don't need your stupid meds. That's what it should be. The doctor should give the medication as a bridge only, and then have a huge plan to get them better and off their meds. That is not what they're taught at school. They're actually literally taught, don't bother trying to change people. They're not going to change. That's number one. Number two, they don't learn much at all about nutrition, like it freaking matters, right? It doesn't matter. Number three, anything herbal, natural, never covered. Like, no, don't even touch it. It's dangerous. Like, it's dangerous. Why? Because the constituents and the medicinal properties in herbs could interact with the pharmaceutical synthetic chemicals and do something. Some of it can. I don't know all of the interactions, I don't study it because I don't understand pharmaceuticals very well because they just don't work in my mind like for medical problems like blood pressure and stuff like that. Because blood pressure, for example, has a lot of underlying causes, but nobody goes to see that. Your kidneys, your adrenals, your nervous system, your sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic, all these things control blood pressure, breathing, heart rate, and shit like that. But we're like, oh, the heart, or it's just the blood pressure. We've been so blind to it because, they don't educate us. Like the food pyramid, people are starting to talk about it like that it's literally, I mean, it is a piece of crap. Okay. You do not eat 7 to 11 servings of carbs, grains per day. There's no such, so what? They could sell their cereal and breads that are so fucking harmful. Like buying bread at the store, hugely toxic. But that's so that they can sell that. So you could have 11 pieces of bread a day. And when I first learned the food pyramid, I was like, cool. I could have like 3 bagels and I'll still have room, right? Which is not what I would do. But my mentality was like, cool, I love my carbohydrates. I'm living the life here. I can have 7 to 11. I don't know. Was fruits and vegetables like I don't remember how the pyramid's heavy on the bottom. And then it's like meat and dairy. And then you get to like fruits and vegetables and you're like, do a little bit of that. Dude, it's all a bunch of BS. Everything about it. It's going to turn because I feel like it's crumbling because it isn't working. And I know a lot of people don't still see this, but a lot of us do. So we're here to turn the table. And that's part of my mission. My mission is to educate people to know, yes, you can heal and get your body better. Okay. There's ways to break down what's happening to you, right? Like taking your disease or taking one of them and then looking at what's going on underneath the roots, right? And then say you have like 5 major problems, diseases, okay? What's going on underneath them all? Oh, look, this one, and this one all have the same underlying cause or problem. Um, the medical profession needs to test people for heavy metals. Okay. There's heavy metals in baby food and dark chocolate and the air. Okay. Um, and they also really need to take parasitic organisms seriously, which they don't even touch. I've literally seen parasites in people, and I'm like, wow, this guy's full of parasites or fungus. I have seen fungus overload causing respiratory cancer, etc. We don't cover that. They don't have meds. Well, they don't even have testing. They don't even give a shit. They don't give a shit. They have 1 or 2 meds that help with fungus, but they don't. And they're very toxic to the kidneys and the liver. Very toxic. They don't kill like a fungal load in the body. It's just like a little cover up. Like, oh, we'll erase some of them, parasites, like the medication ivermectin that was banned during the sickness of 2020 was it's an anti-parasitic, anti-malarial, hydrochloroquine, Um, they didn't want anybody to use them, but they were anti-parasitics and they worked. It's interesting because when you see them get really mad and ban that and don't listen to that person and we're going to off him because he had a cure, they kill the guy who came up with the cure. That guy can't even come out with his cure that he came up with because him and his family are going to get offed, or he's going to get offed, he or she, rather. People who come up with a solution to what's not working now, whether it's energy or whatever, the big oligarchs are going to come in and crush it. They will they will take you down. That's what's been going on. We're basically controlled by this mafia. And if we speak out against them, they literally can end your life. Literally. Okay. So you can't come out and say you haven't cured anything. If you did cure yourself, I mean, they're not going to go kill you, but don't go telling everyone. Well, actually, that's not true because somebody like Chris Wark or, Chris Carr, that's a guy, and then a girl, are both 2 people that I've followed because they cured their own cancer in their 20s or whatever with diet. Dude, diet and avoiding a bunch of stuff that was causing problems. And they haven't been offed. And they're one of many, many, many stories. So my point being is that we are needing to wake up to what's going on. And at some point, I'm still kind of mad about it because I was in it. I watched people that I cared so much about just die. Even, my own mother, when I saw her and she was with her cancer doctor, dude, I looked at the scans. I looked at it, man. They just put her into this. But she liked the doctor because he was so sweet. He cares so much. Sure, he cares. He's getting paid for your treatment. And even on top of that, they give you this, like you did your chemo. Usually people get a motherfucking break, okay, after, because your body has to recover from that shit, which a lot of people's bodies have a very hard time recovering from chemo because they were already very weak. How are you going to recover from that? Especially when nobody cares about your nutrition or anything else. But now they have their in between immunotherapy. Look at what's in that shit. It's just chemo again, labeled wrong, lying to you so that they could keep you on it. You know how much money the doctors get every time they give you that? The money comes in because pharma will pay the doctors to give that shit. I'll tell you what, I've had 2 people close to me in my life die from immunotherapy. because they were like, they came out of their chemo, they're like, all right, we're getting a break. They're like, "Mom, I'm going in for my immunotherapy." Wouldn't you know, the both people developed new cancer after. And the doctors are like, oh, what a shame. We really tried. Your body's just full of cancer. Well, it wasn't fucking full of cancer before, but that just added, oh, there they go, spraying pesticides, right? To kill the beetle infestation, which I never see. But they lie, right? So now I just saw the guy walk by on the path spraying pesticides, which pisses me off because I've literally seen birds affected by that. I swear to goodness, things need to change. These chemical industries that have taken over every realm of our life, our food industry, our medical and health industry, our water, our air. I am so done, dude. I'm so done. I don't know how not to be mad. And it's like I've been trying to diffuse my anger because I really want to help people. And I don't feel like my anger is helpful. But my passion comes that way, right? Because I'm passionate about the fact that people have been lied to and manipulated and haven't been helped the right way, okay? Because I am creating, and I'm working on it now, a comprehensive health plan that people can figure out and do for themselves because they don't know the million layers that they need to take care of or to do, or things that will add to their health and things to eliminate to keep their health. They don't know this because the medical world will not share it, because the medical world doesn't talk about it, know it, learn it, nothing. Because again, guided by pharma. Big pharma owns their asses, okay? And they owned mine too. As a nurse, I literally got in trouble for educating someone around raw food. It's like I'm getting in trouble talking about nutrition, but it's because of what I said about the nutrition and how that could help heal and clean out the body. That's why I got in trouble. Dare I do that? Dare I don't? Okay, because you're in the hospital, right? I was part of helping a menu be created. I got the chance to be that nurse who got to help create the menu. They wouldn't let go of the hamburgers, the milkshakes, it just, I was like, forget it, fuck this. Because literally, they didn't do anything I suggested. They're within their budget. They use Cisco, which, has the worst food to every hospital, every soda on the menu you could think of. And it was useless. People were ordering milkshakes while in the hospital. You shouldn't even have a milkshake on the menu. You should not. And especially when they're like, oh, but like little kids and they get their tonsils out, we can have like a milkshake. And I'm like, that's the worst thing you can give them is some fucking dairy to create mucus. It's all backwards. And the people in it today that really had a heart and went into being a doctor and stuff and the medical or nurse coming into the profession, it's because not all, some, a percentage, 40%, 50, go in because their heart's like, I want to love and help and heal people. And then there's the other half that's like in it for the money, in it for because, I'm going to be a doctor and my parents pushed me to be a doctor and whatever. People without heart. And I've met so many of them over the years. It's very disgusting. Don't be in a health profession if you don't have so much compassion and a desire to help people heal. But whatever. We have that all across the board in every profession and everything, right? Leaders and politicians and stuff, they don't fucking give a shit. They're just concerned about their ego and the money. Money, 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 right? Like even here in Oregon, our governor before this one, and this one, whatever her freaking deal is, she's another sellout, very much so. I did ask to meet with her, which of course I wasn't going to get a response because I was talking about banning the spraying, which other states have done. They've banned spraying of this crap that is experimental. It's a 5-year experiment to try to put the sun out. We need the sun actually to live. So shut the fuck up. Number one. Number two, you don't think those chemicals are going to cause problems? Oh no, it disperses. It's like, you're not gonna listen. Literally, that shit has been told in the document of the United States, who, are this piece of crap guy who is in control of the country, wrote, signed off on it. It's good. Go ahead, spray the air. It literally says respiratory irritation, which was very mildly put, because it's not respiratory irritation. It will cause that. But what is it doing? It's getting embedded into your lungs. It's going to cause diseases and shit in all kinds of people, because there's heavy metals and God knows what fucking else. Or also, they're allowing Bill Gates to spray mosquitoes in swarms over the United States, wherever he chooses. You don't have a choice. You don't even know where he's going to let them go, because he's putting vaccines into mosquitoes. Malarial, anti-malarial. You know what? If there was a case of malaria or two here in the United States, okay, like there is actually, hello, hydrochloroquine. Um, there are anti-malarial drugs. It's not, and it's sure it's deadly, especially over where that all happens, Africa and stuff like that. Maybe Central America. I don't know. South Africa. I mean, South America. I'm not really sure. I do think like just Africa comes to mind, but I'm sure it's other places. Um, so this is what we have going on, you guys. This is what's in charge of us. So what we literally have to do is take charge of ourselves. And a lot of people are starting to get that. They're starting to see that, especially after the just crap show in 2020 and the wool pulled over our eyes and everybody getting forced to be injected with an experimental thing that I won't name here, that is now even coming out one thing after the other. Oh my Lord. The evidence is disgusting. It's in court. It's everywhere. People are suing. The state of Kentucky is suing Pfizer because they lied. But guess what? It's still on the children's schedule, and your doctor is going to give you your booster. Just think about it. They pay off everyone who has a problem with them, and they're allowed to stay there because the ones in charge are part of this. They're not going to like take themselves away when they're making trillions and trillions of dollars off of us, keeping us sick, wounded, energetically small, vibrationally low, too ill and sick and weak and tired to fight back. That's what it is. They don't, and I think Rockefeller said this. I don't want a bunch of people thinking for themselves. I want worker bees. I don't want people well and strong and healthy. I want them sick and weak so we can just continue to control them, use them. It's like people talk about slavery and this and that, and like everybody's crying about whatever. We're enslaved now, people. It doesn't matter what your nationality is or even what country you live in. We're all being enslaved. We're all being pushed down this. We're all in line. We're the freaking cattle being slaughtered. They don't give a flying about any of us. So it's up to us to stand up for ourselves. And the way to do that is to stand up for yourself first. You stand up for yourself. You start educating yourself. You start taking care of yourself. You stop giving into that. You stop taking that from them. You stop listening to them. Now, I'm not saying don't go to your doctor and stop taking care of your disease. It's just, listen, have your doctor look after your disease and all these things. Continue your antics with them because this is important. Because right now, this is not about stepping out and away and taking over control of your cancer and leaving everything behind. But I will say this is when you end up in these positions with some sort of illness or sickness or cancer or something, you better damn well know that you're going to have to do some new levels of work and you're going to have to make changes and you have the opportunity to change your life and heal from these things. You have the opportunity. And even some people have gotten the chemo, but did all the work also, the diet, the da 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 da. So it's not to say that they didn't do treatments or get the surgery, okay? Because even Chris Wark had the surgery for his colon cancer, but he didn't take the chemo and stuff, I don't think. I don't remember. But like, you can pick and choose to do this or that, but you have to do the work over here, which everyone doesn't want to do work. They'd rather just have their doctor do the thing and then go about their day, looking at their shows, eating their crappy food, ignoring the fact that they might have created some of this illness, which is true. We choose to eat the shitty food, we're helping create illness in our life. Now, oh, but the shitty food is there for us to eat. Yeah, well, now we need to educate ourselves on how shitty some of this stuff is and avoid it. I mean, look at a regular lotion. Look at the I don't know, what do they have? Like Nivea or some stupid one? Look at the ingredients in there. Besides water, what the hell else do you recognize? Nothing. I'm good though. Listen, you need some skin lotion, try some coconut oil, some olive oil, or something like that. You do not need 40 fucking chemical ingredients. Do you think that that stuff's good for you? Oh, look, my skin's moisturized. And guess what else? All those chemicals went into your bloodstream and into your body, and now your liver and kidneys and everybody has to detoxify from them, which, by the way, your body is so bogged up and toxic. And I could speak for myself because I'm still not fully detoxed and fully clean. But our bodies just keep taking it all in. Never mind when we're outside breathing in just regular, city, whatever. Like, there's toxins in our environment anyway. They've just recently added a very terrorizing, deadly system of spraying that nobody knows yet. Because I'll tell you this too, when you go to the doctor and you're sick and you've got all this respiratory stuff, they will never attach it to what's being sprayed ever. Just like right now, doctors cannot say, oh crap, your health's gone downhill. Cancer just grew like crazy after you got this mandated jab. They're not even allowed to say that. They like literally, did you know that literally the FBI has been following doctors since the pandemic? To see what they're saying, what they're doing, make sure they're giving their shots. And doctors have been in trouble for not, like a pediatrician who was refusing to give it. Or maybe he was giving saline. There's been things like that that have gone on because, hello, some of us use our brain because the minute this injection came out, red flags went off for me. No, thank you. No fucking way. I knew my intuition, everything about me. And plus, you know what? I've been into the healing and detox and herbs and everything and different kinds of healing mechanisms, even just frequency, energy, oxygen healing for like decades now. So when that thing came out, I was like, what? For a coronavirus? When I also knew that the people in the hospitals and all these old people with all these comorbidities and different diseases and why they were dying and how their care was going, the plan of care for those people in the hospital. Oh, hell no. Hell no. I knew right away that this was suspicious and effed up. And I was, all right, I can think about it. I see the genocidal monsters out there, especially Billy Boy, okay, Mr. Microsoft, who suddenly is a doctor now, who suddenly is a farmer, who suddenly just knows everything. He's actually said we need to depopulate with vaccines. It's literally there for you to hear out of his mouth. Why would you trust anything like that? But I do know that people didn't want it and they got it anyway. They had to do this, to do that, to keep their job. God was with me, I'll tell you that. I worked for the federal government, the VA, and we were allowed to have exemptions. Thank God. But do you know how hard it was to keep that going? Every day we felt threatened, like they were going to take that away because they threatened to do so. I had to sign affidavits and shit, like serious documents. I didn't just sign one. Every week there was a new one, like, you are going to sign this and blah, 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 blah. And if you don't, blah, 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 right? It was like making us feel, but I got away with it and I still quit because I was tired of listening to it. And I would have been listening to the bird fly out right now. I can't. I was with medical professionals that I lost respect for in that realm. Like good people, but guys, How come I see it and you don't? Wake the fuck up. But anyway, I digress. My point is just this. You only ever have yourself. It's time to start educating yourself. And I'm going to be on here helping you guys learn about your body, about different things that are out there for us to do and help guide you through it and support you because yes, it seems scary to most people because number one, when we think of the medical world or the healthcare industry, we're like, "Psh, I don't even know, dude. I didn't go to school for 40 years and I'm not a doctor. I don't know, right? We've been trained to only think that doctors know, when in the truth is they barely know what's going on, guys. They get paid money and have to go to school and pay like $600,000 in debt. And it's a racket. It's a bunch of BS. Okay. We need a new school for health. Okay. Become a doctor, but you're going to learn the herbs, all of the therapies. I'm so sorry. You're also going to learn new diagnostics. They used to look at the tongue, the eyeball, the iris. You could read people's health by looking at them. Like a diagnosis can happen. I could see things. Like you could see here, kidney and adrenals for me. I still have to work on those. Like my kidneys definitely need my love. And so I'm not perfect, okay? And I do know the things that help, and I do those things as well. But then I still like coffee. Coffee is probably the one thing that my kidneys really resent me for. I know it. And do I always listen? No, I don't always listen. So that's why I'm human to human with you. It's like, yeah, but I have done a million other things to help myself heal. Look, I'm 47 years old and I've got guns and I'm still in really good shape and I never get sick. I never get sick. I never catch shit. You know why? Because I don't believe it. I don't believe in catching. I didn't believe in the flu the whole time. I was a nurse, never got the flu, never got flu shots. Okay. Why? Because your mentality, your mind, your mental mind is the number one way to begin to be like stronger. They have us so weak and afraid of every little thing that creates weakness and ill health in our body because we're so scared of it now. It's like, okay, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Oh my God, what if I have this disease? All of them are detoxable out of the body and healable. I'm so sorry. I know nobody wants that to be the case or believe me. Okay. MS, Parkinson's, all these things, you can heal them. You've got to detox heavy metals out. You've got to treat them with stuff. Like CBD is huge. MS recently, a surgeon cut open a brain, lesions. MS has the lesions on the brain and the whatever. Cut open the brain, and wouldn't you know, parasites up the butt. It's a parasitic and fungal and lymphatic disease and nervous system. Okay. But oh, my myelin is like, oh, it's getting eaten away. Or there's all these diseases where it's like, oh, my body's eating itself and it's just going to fail. It's going that way. It doesn't have to. And that is the truth that I believe. You can reverse things. You got to do the work, but you need somebody who can help you do the work. You need somebody in your corner. You need your doctor to be the one to put you on the path. Okay. Literally. And that's not happening right now, but that's going to change because we're waking up to this. Okay. In the next 30 years, 20 years, we're going to bring in healing modalities that are going to help people heal and the information. And you don't have to be a doctor. You don't even have to have graduated from 8th grade, okay, in order to understand your body simply, what it needs, what it doesn't need, okay? These things, anybody can absorb this information. It doesn't take you to be a brain scientist or surgeon or whatever the hell I was going to say. I don't even know. But you don't have to be this amazingly intelligent, like, I know everything science and medical. That's the problem. They've made it all this big, big deal so that you're intimidated. Your body is your deal and is meant for you to know it. We are meant to understand and listen to our body and help it. We're the only one. We only have us. And we're meant to have this power. It's our natural right. It's our earthen, universal, natural human right to know our body, take care of our body, and literally look around you. The dandelion growing on your lawn need not be sprayed with a pesticide, hun. You just need to pick that thing, and you're going to help cure so many parts of your body just with dandelion alone. Dandelion is so powerful. Just dandelion. Literally. It's amazing when you figure it out. But people have a hard time accepting it because we've been so brainwashed. But that's okay because that is moving out of the way. And I literally feel like their 2020, all this and their whole big yeah has helped people see that. Because some people were like, people that you would have never thought would have turned around have turned the corner to say, what do I do? Because I'm done with this BS. Because they already have an injection for the next one. They had it before this even became a problem. So are you going to get in line for it? I hope to God not. I would love to do a whole episode on the injections, okay? Because you should not get them. I think that they are the most highly toxic, cancer-causing, disease-causing, insulting attacks and harmful mechanisms to the body. The end. That is my opinion. Oh no, it solved the smallpox. Actually, smallpox was, like smallpox. This is smallpox. It started to decline. And then it started to almost come to the end. And that's when they brought in their shot right at the end. And they were like, look at us, our shot ended it. Lies. I honestly cannot listen to anything that they say anymore because all I hear is diarrhea coming out of their mouth. And that's where I live today. So the nurse that I've been saw through everything. I saw people struggle endlessly and die needlessly. Actually, the medical profession, especially the pharmaceuticals, are like the #2 cause of death at this point. Cancer might be #1. And I know they say heart disease and stuff, but heart disease is another tricky one to me. You don't just have heart disease. There's a lot of components with going on with the heart, and the heart is an electrical. It needs electrolytes, right? It's electrical. There are, calcium, magnesium, sodium, and, we need our electrolytes, so to speak. There's so many things about the heart. And why is the muscle weak? But this industry, this industrial complex is ending lives. And yeah, they save lives on this side. But what is this? 20% of their entirety? Their other 80%, give me a break. And their diagnostic tools, if you ever look into dark field microscopy, which used to be used, now I couldn't find a dark field microscopist across this country. I literally was looking for someone to do it because I want it done. I'd love to learn it, actually, but I think you have to be a doctor and stuff to do that. Blah, blah, blah. Actually, I probably don't have to be a doctor to learn dark field microscopy, but if I was to apply it and use it in client settings, I think I'd have to be a doctor, although they don't promote that. But let me tell you about dark field microscopy. If you could look at a live sample of the blood on a screen with your doctor, right? He's telling you to look at your blood sample on the TV and they're all moving around and you could see how your red blood cells look and what's going on in there. It's so telling. It's huge. It's a huge diagnostic tool and can help you. Literally, you'll see fungal and parasitic organism-y things and pieces of heavy metals. And I mean, shit's in there. It's such a telling diagnostic tool, but they got rid of that. They got rid of oxygen as a therapy. They got rid of anything that's going to help you heal. And I'm done. So this is my intention now going forward is to not come with this anger, because obviously this is very curbed. Okay. I have to laugh nowadays because I get so, yeah. Um, but I'm gonna come, this is gonna be my, I feel like my gift to the world, or my actual like mission here is to just inform people and empower people. I want to empower you. I tried that with all my might with every patient I had, and some, very few, would resonate. But the rest of them were so trapped in fear. And if I was the only nurse or medical professional that had any of this information, they were like, girl, I don't even know where you got that. It sounds like it could be a good thing, but dude, the doctors don't talk about it. Like, I never heard that before, or my doctor doesn't talk, like, or they'd go to the doctor and ask, oh, I heard this nurse said that. And they were like, don't listen to her. So I've been up against it for 20 motherfucking 5 years. I'm done. But there, towards the end of my career, though, and I was with the Veterans, Administration, I worked at the VA. The veterans are they're a different breed, right? They've been through some shit none of us could possibly even imagine. And a lot of them know things that aren't right. They see some of that stuff. So they know there's lies and things going on. So they were like just a meaningful, it was a very touching scenario for me to work with them. It was an honor. Really, it's an honor. And I'm sure some of them weren't the greatest people. However, they were the ones who were like, dude, I'm not buying this. They knew there were other answers, because a lot of them don't get help. They come home with this traumatic heaviness. They got injected with God knows what. It's not even on their records if they go looking. You just don't know. But they literally do get mentally, emotionally effed. And then they come home and they have pain because they broke their back over there. And as I was watching through the years I'd worked at the VA on and off for, it was about 10 years total. And they weren't getting help. Excuse me. I do know that there's just more out there. And because of all these people getting no answers and losing their lives or losing their quality of life, I couldn't do it anymore. Because my one discussion with this one veteran or this patient may have clicked something, but off they went. Because out of fear, you stay within the medical industry and hope to God that there's an answer. I mean, I literally took care of a lady just recently who I was doing something else for. I wasn't a nurse, but she was like, I have MS, because she was in a wheelchair. She was pretty young. And I was like, dude, what happened? I thought she got she did get the right? Her MS did come after that, but they'll never associate the two. And she was like, I really hope they find the answer. Oh no, she heard from her doctor, they're doing research and they're looking to, and I was like, I hope so, right? Because that's what I'm going to give her, is like hope. And I really wanted to tell her a million other things, but I didn't have the time, nor did she ask, right? You don't just offer. And I didn't offer that I was a nurse and I knew all this stuff. But I just prayed for her, because she literally sits there getting worse and worse. She's already in a wheelchair and she was maybe 40. And she's praying that those answers come. You know how many patients over the years I've heard, oh, they're coming up with this. I hope it gets to me before. Never, never does. Because there's no fucking cure being figured out. That's the thing. People want science. Science can go the direction you want it to go. Science can be skewed. You can also see science that cures and does all this and not even include it, throw it under the rug. We don't need that science, because it's gonna ruin us. That's what the medical world does. Dr. Otto Warburg, Warburg, oxygen cures over 200 diseases over 100 years ago. They got rid of him. He even won a Nobel Peace Prize. Got rid of him. Tesla, free energy, got rid of him. What do you think's going on, guys? We are in a literal spiritual war with these people because they don't want us powerful, existing, healing. Yeah, it's very sad. But anyway, my next video, I'm going to share something. Not really sure yet. Like, I really want to get into like the kidneys and what they are and how they work and what they could use and how to regenerate them, and then the liver and then the this and then the that. I want to definitely get into that stuff. But we also have to do the work on our mental mindset, our belief systems, because again, we've been brainwashed. So some of the beliefs we have, they're not our beliefs. They were imposed into our psyche, and that's what we now believe. It's not necessarily the truth, but it became a truth to us because it was so shoved down our throat. Working with our ego, working with our emotions, our past stories, all the conditioning we received even before all this, like our parents and everyone who, we're all existing as a non-player character. Like we're living a life somebody imposed upon us without realizing like just how strong, amazing, powerful, self-healing that we are. Like, so we're gonna have a journey on this channel. It's gonna be about everything that has to do with our healing and everything we deserve here. We deserve a million times more than what we're getting. So hopefully this video helped you guys, somebody out there. And if you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear. If you don't agree with me, just move on. You know, I don't need negative comments below. If you're hyper medical world, enjoy, okay? I'm not the channel for you, nor the person. Don't need the comments. But if you're somebody who agrees or feels like there are some other things out there, or there's different layers, and you know, because people intuitively know. They may not know what, but they know gut-wise that there's other stuff or that things aren't right. Then this channel will be for you. So subscribe if you can, share if you think somebody else could use hearing about this, and I will see you guys next video. Lots of love, take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon.